Hello, everybody. How you guys doing today? Whew. Just finishing up some things here. You're gonna start. Notes so I don't get lost. So what I'm thinking of doing today, we left out day 10 from last session. Um, and I think it was a good thing. So I can combine day 10 with day 11 and 12. I think they go together pretty nicely. And we're gonna talk about groups and permissions, days 14 and 13. And I'm going to leave day 15 for next week because I'm going to talk about other parts of installation and repositories, how to install packets in different ways. So I want to combine that too. So this is supposed to be day 11 to 15, but in reality, it's going to be from day 10 to 14. So it's not going to change that much. And if I sound a little lost or a little too slow, it's because I'm pretty tired. I have to work yesterday, so I still need some time to recover. It was a pretty tiring week. How you guys doing? You guys have to work a lot this week? It was an easy one, a hard one. How are you guys feeling? Just giving a couple minutes before I really start with the actual content, okay? It's okay. You guys must be as tired as I am. So let's start with this. So for the first one, I want to one needs to start as well. Okay. So for starters, um, I have some files. what? I think I'm going to use another one. My servers. I'm going to use the other one. So starting with locating files. Let's get this out of the way. Too much stuff in my paper. So a few comments to locate files in your system. Sometimes you don't know the path to the file that you want to address or anything you want to do. The one that is one of my favorites actually is locate. LDR locate. Let's see if I have the LDR here. Yes, I do. With locate, you can just give a pattern of the file name, and you're good to go. Before we start, you can always update the actual database or information that locate have stored, and before you can use locate. Okay. Or you can use locate. This have locate in the first place? No, I do not. That's why. Okay. Sudo apt install. So slow today. Install locate. One of my favorites, and it's not even here. Shame. Let's update that DB. And we can start searching for stuff. So I want to search for a file that has, I don't know. What do I have here? Locate any files that are shell scripts. Okay, we have some headers. A lot of files that was not a good idea. Okay. Just take a look here. Because I do have a backup with stuff. Okay, I want to find my file that's called general notes. Instead of going through the system, I can just use locate general notes, and that's it. It found the file for me. I can find the same file using find. It's a little bit more specific. Okay, I can go through and find only things that are inside a specific directory and that whole directory structure. I can start from the root. I can start from just my home directory or just a directory inside my home directory, whatever I wanted to do. I can find for a file that has been modified in the last 7 days, for example. I can give some day start and a time. If the file is empty, right, we can do that. I can touch a file. And I can find, let's again that information. Yeah, type and what type of file is that? Did I put it here? Yeah. I put a file. There's a file, right? Not type. Yes, file. This is an empty file. So I want to find pipe empty. No argument. Example for that. Ah, yes. Empty. I have the empty file that I just created, and I have a few of other empty files that I have on the system. You see that I used the entire home directory. I start from the home directory. This is all inside my home directory because I didn't specify the root path that I want to use. So if I want to see from the whole system, and this is going to give us some errors, okay? I can start from the actual root directory instead of using my current directory. And this is going. And I have some permission denied here. That's the errors that I was talking about. One thing that we learned last week about redirections, I can redirect those permission denied stuff. Let me get something that is... I want... Now I want empty. I want empty files from the system, but I want to redirect the errors to dev null. Did I do that right? I don't want to execute that. I did it right. Yeah, maybe that. You see, we don't see those errors anymore. Those permission denied. Those errors, they were redirected to nowhere. So I don't see that on my standard output. Okay, I could redirect this to a new file. If I look here, we have error messages. So if I put on the screen that, all the permission denieds that I received from that line of comment are here. And it's not so little. Okay. So we did that for file. I wanted to use actually the other with potato. Why do I have a file nano here? Okay. So we use locate, use find. Obviously, you can also use grab, find files. Okay. You can use recursive search. For example, I want to use grab. Recursive search. This is a capital R. And I want it to be everything that has permit root login and etc etc in the etc directory. Okay, we got some permission denied, but we got those two lines of those 2 lines that have the actual pattern that I'm looking for. See, I'm not really looking for, when I use grep, I'm not looking for the file names in itself or file types. I'm more likely looking for a regular expression or just a pattern inside those files. Okay, so I found that inside SSH config I have 2 lines that have permit root login. Actually, I wanted to do that. That doesn't sound safe. Just config. Remember, using Vim, we can search inside the actual Vim for that same pattern. Got it here. And I want a permit login. Yeah, that's it. Just wanted to do a quick check on my server. Too big. I'm going to permit passwords because I believe I still have to do something. But that's okay. Yeah, I could use just set, but I was inside Vim, so it was no problem. But I can do that since we used it sad last week. Thanks for that, Mateus. Uh, yeah, we can use that. Ah, yes, I left it yes. I didn't change that. Yeah, I see your point. And I'm really bad today. Ah, found it. I'm just gonna leave it here, and I'm going to use the set. To the set -I substitute permit root login yes or permit login new. That's going to be c sh hd config. Yes, the trailing slash at the end. Just forgot about that. So if I'm going to search again using the grep -r. So, thanks, Mateus. Okay, we use locate, we use find, use grep. Oh, other thing for find, we can use inside the. We use it for the current directory that was my home directory, and we use the root directory. You can specify actual directory you want to search in. So I want to find inside the var directory any files that the name access log. And of course I have the permission again. See, I have one file. That is one way. Find is pretty versatile compared to locate. I think that if you want something that is pretty specific, it's not just searching for regular files across the system. You want to know about the date, specific name, or specific property of that file. Find is a lot better, I think. If you take a look at the manual, you're gonna see a few more expressions that you can use to set up your find command, your command line for find. Have some global options. What I thought, what I talked about the time. For example, file that last status changed in less than or exactly some minutes. So, for example, we just changed in the last few minutes SSH config. We could use a find. Just put it in the big. We can use find. See newer. Was see newer? Yeah. Or was see new? It was see min. Yeah, for minutes. I went in the last 10 minutes. Let's see if we can get anything. Let me take a look again at that. Okay. And the number of minutes. File status. This is for status. Okay. Oh, yeah. C time is not the same as M time. The data was less modified. That's what we did. We didn't change the status of the file. We modified the data inside the file. Okay, let's see M time or M minute. Modify the last 10 minutes. Nope. -10. Ah, yeah. Last history. We just modified a file. Yes, that's why the dash. I was missing the dash for minus less than. More than 10 minutes, exactly. 10 minutes. Okay, let's see for the last day. Time. Oh yes, because I'm using just the current directory, Livia. Come on. So we can use that again. All right. That's what you get when you do stuff tired. Wow. $5 minutes? Okay, let's do it differently. I want TC. Yes. Used. Oh, yes. Now it is. You see? Come on, Livia. Wake up. So we got one of the things. I just wanted to show you guys that if you're trying it out, okay, what am I missing? Just read the manual and go trying stuff. You're supposed to see that showing up. So try it out a little bit. That's how you learn how to use the commands in the first place. And it's not going to be me that's going to tell you everything because I don't know everything. But the manual is there. Show you how you can do this. So I was missing just one parameter that I should use in the first place. I'm on my home directory, so it's just gonna by default is going to search anything inside that directory. If I don't specify where I want to start the search, that would be, for example, /etc. And I can put more parameters here. It's the last 10 minutes and it's whatever or whatever. I could put more parameters there. Okay, so we got locate, find, and grab recursive covered. I want to search for a tool or a program. I can use which is going to give me the path of that program. For example, I use TLDR. Isn't user bin a TLDR? There's another way. I believe it was apt file. So let's see, apt file. Yes, apt dash file. Come on. Do I have apt file here? No, no. I don't believe I have. No, I do not. That's why. This one is an interesting use to search for actually a package. For example, I want to search for Calmu. Calsay. It's Calsay. Calsay. Okay, I am using it wrong. So what is it? Options action. Okay, search for third options. Name. Show. This. Search find. Yes, it's this one that I want to use. You want to search for for a specific package. You don't know if you have it or not. Like I was just doing it here. So apt file. Show. Search. I'll say. No. PT. Same problem that we have with locate, for example. That we do not have. We have to populate the DB, the database that apt file uses. So we have to use apt file update first. And I do not have the permission. So do it. Ah, thanks, Mateus. You see that I'm really slow today. Even to check on the chat. Thanks for putting up with me. Okay, let's get this apt file search. So we can see that Calsay have a couple of packets we can use. Go on. Yeah, we see all the packets inside the actual Calsay. Or we use the search, we can search for all the packets that have Calsay or are Calsay. You see that Calsay is also inside games. Have done on fish. So to search for packets, search for the path of the actual command, the switch. Do we have Calsay? I don't believe so. I have to install that. Hey, thanks, Julio. We don't have Calsay. Not in our path, at least. So if we install Calsay, and you search, you see that we got that to the user games. We got that installed. We can see on which that is going to show me all the program, the actual the path for that command inside the path, because that was added to the path. User games is one of the paths that I have. Echo, not X. Echo path. You see we have user games here, one of the paths. So when I install Calsay, it's going to be installed in user games. And when I search for Calsay, okay, it's inside my path. In case you're wondering what Calsay does. This is it. This is what Calsay. It's a call saying something. Anyway, so we will use it, locate, find, grab which apt file. Those are the main ones you can use to find files and programs and packages. Let's go on and transfer some files. Okay, so I wanted to transfer file. I want to transfer that one file. You just find the file, and I want to transfer that to another server or to another whatever. What can I do here? We can use SCP, that is a secure copy. We can use SFTP. It's not the same as FTP. It's going to actually it's like FTP, but it's going to work over SSH uh, layer. We're going to do that over SSH. You can also do that with SCP. There is an option for that. We can actually do backups using rsync. Can sync between two servers. To really work, you have to have rsync on both ends. Okay, because they are syncing, so they have to understand each other. It's not just one way. You have to have both sides on the same page. Okay. There's also, if you're doing that in the cloud specifically, you can also use rclone. Let's see if I have rclone here. You can sync or copy, sync, or move files and directories to and from any cloud services. Here we can use S3 from AWS or anything Azure. You can do stuff that is a little bit more cloud geared. Okay. And there are many services in the cloud world that support rclone. So that's why it's popular for that. If you're just doing for a client to a host, rsync is just fine. So let's do some tests. Let's create a couple of files here. I want to okay, touch. Okay, I have a file. Just created a file. And I want to send that to my other server, that is Tomato. Let me see if I have Tomato. I probably do have Tomato. I have just the authorizer key. I'll actually do that since I have to transfer. It is on a secure way, but you can use actually SSH copy. That is more specific to copy SSH keys from a local client to a host. You want to send out an SSH key over. But I wanted to do it differently. Let's get out here. And I want to have SFTP. Yes, I do. So I'm going to use SFTP. No, I'm not going to use SFTP. I'm going to use SCP first. Let's use SCP first. TLDR SCP. We can copy a local file to a remote host, so we can just give the path to the file and indicate where we want this on the remote host, a path to that. If we just give the remote host, it's probably gonna for the user that you're logging to that remote host. Okay, let me just see for the CP. See the SSH part of this. Have a source and a target. Select. Alternative integration. We have the options. Get from this. Okay, so I want SCP. Let me see if I can just execute. So I want SSH. Oh, this is the Linode key that I want to send out. Yeah, to send out that key to potato. Come on. Send to potato. Home leave. Let's see if we can get that. And it's going to ask for my password on that, and we just send out a file over. So if we SSH back again on potato, and we check, here we have Linode. I'm going to send that my SSH folder. Okay, we use SCP. SCP. Oh, there are SCP. We send to a remote host. We can also copy from a remote host. Okay, so we just do the reverse. But I do like a lot more SFTP. I don't know. They're pretty similar. And for example, let me see if I can log in. I'm going to actually first try out SSH dash. I don't need to dash I. Yes, I do. SSH node. I want to. What is my other? Connected. This guy. It's Livia. Yeah. Okay. So do. Okay. So I want to send my file to that other guy. I'm actually just gonna. Yeah, I'm change a little bit. TLDR SFTP. How can we do that? To connect to the SFTP, we can actually execute SSH. We can use the actual SSH key, the actual SSH key. So we have to specify the identifier that we have. There's going to be SSH Linode. And I'm going to connect using Livia at that IP address. So instead of receiving that prompt that we have when we log in using SSH, you see that we just got an SFTP here. So we open up a session differently from SCP that we just sending things out. We don't really open a session. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there is a session there. But this is an interactive session that we can. I don't remember exactly what I should be doing here, so I'm going to first local ls. You see that is the same thing that I'm seeing on the local directory that I'm on. I can use a local pwd to see what is my working directory locally is home Livia. I want to see what is the working directory I have on this session. On the remote host, I can just use pwd and it's home Livia on the other side. So to give an ls on that directory, there's nothing there. So I can just put, or is an upload, I can put my file. And you see that it works, the type completion here works. When I use put, it's expecting something that is local. So that if I'm using other stuff, it's not going to complete. It's expecting something that it would complete locally with put. So I'm going to put my file and I uploaded that file to the remote host. So if I do an ls, my file is there. Okay. If I want to pull something from there, I can use get. And it's the same thing. It's going to expect something that is on that remote directory and it's not giving me anything. So I just want to see ls, and you can, let's see if, yeah, we can use the flags here. So we have a bunch of other stuff. I want to copy the bash history from from my remote host. So I'm going to get bash history, and it's going to download, it's fetching that file to my local file. So if I ls local, it's not going to show because it's a it is a hidden file, but I just subscribed my bash history. Okay. And I can exit this. And if I look up here, and let me just get that. Nope, bash history, just to see if I subscribed. Yeah, I did. I subscribed it. This is the bash history from there, not from here. We did a bunch of stuff here. It's not here. So that's the little thing. It's more of an interactive way to send and download files. It's not a good way to do backups. The good way to do backups, I really like to use rsync. So if I created here a backup folder, okay, and I don't know, I'm going to copy a bunch of stuff. I'm going to copy, for example, my var. Do we have Apache? Yeah, I'm going to copy recursively Apache 2. I want to copy that entire directory inside my backup. My backup folder. So we got Apache 2 inside here. See that? Yeah, I cannot see it because I just copied from sudo, so it's not supposed to. But if I just give let's say the size. It has some size. Okay, I just wanted to have it some size, and I wanted to actually a good idea. Could see. Let's try it out, right? Let's rsync, and let's first take a look of what are the parameters we can use to rsync. We can archive with an A. We can or cannot compress that. Don't need it. I like to use verbose because I want to see stuff being done. I want H to read human readable, and P, capital P, for progress. I want to see the progress, especially if I'm doing that with big files like video or something, that big files that have that are really in size is going to take a while. I want to see the progress, that the little bar of progress. You can do that here. Okay, so let's use that. I want to archive. I want to be verbose, human readable progress. I want that. We can change one thing, and I think this is a good thing that I passed now, because it really saves some time, I would say. Remember about the SSH, and I'm using this during this session. Maybe you didn't notice, but instead of using SSH, the key pair, the actual key name, and the username and the IP address of my remote server, I'm just using, for example, SSH potato. What is that? Is SSH config? I don't really remember if I passed that on the first or second session of this month, but here it is. SSH, we create a config file, and my host name, no, my host is tomato, and my host name is the IP address for tomato, and my user is Livia, and my identity file is, I'm going to put, let's use the whole path, .ssh linode. Okay. So instead of using ssh-i and give the path to the key, then username and the host, I can just get that all out and use tomato. Same thing. Okay, why this is interesting? And one thing that I did, I created the SSH key with no password, so I don't have to input password every time I logged in. But it was with a purpose. I wanted to do that so I could automate this later. So I wanted to rsync to archive verbose human readable progress, and I want, yes, I have to put R. Let's see if it's R. I don't remember. TLDR rsync, because I'm sending a actual directory and directories inside that directory, so I need some directory and all of its content, so I need R as well. So it's rsync -a R because it's a directory. I want it to be go inside those directories. Verbose, human readable, progress. I wanted to get backup folder, and I wanted to send to tomato. That's my server. And that's it. I'm going to put that on the home folder. Let's see if it does. Okay, I have, oh yes, we have the problem with the permission. Happen. One thing, you have to have the permissions online for that to really work. So we can do differently actually. I'm just going. I don't know. I know that I have something big here. So I'm going to do. I have ls. No, I do not. Okay. That. That on. Font. Yeah, we do have. So I'm going to do that. Rsync. I'm not going to put an entire directory, just one file. A VHP. I want that from the backup. I have videos. I have channel. See if I have something here. No, I'm going to take channel. Let's take from streams. I have some streams. I'm going to take the not the latest. Yeah, the latest stream. 2023 May. It was what, 14? Yeah, 13. Send 13 to yes. Let's take that out. Actually, something different. I'm going to do SFTP. I'm going to check on potato because I put it there. And we can also get inside those directories. We can move around. So we can copy, or actually we're gonna get config. So we got config here. I'm going to move that config H folder. Okay, so we can get that again. Rsync AVHP backup videos stream 23 May 13. And I'm going to send to tomato. I'm going to send it to tomato. I'm going to send that. Oh, this is a big one. So if you leave it at that, it's going to take a while, because the last one was quite extensive. But you can see that that's what we're trying to do. Oh yes, there was one flag that I didn't use here, is -u. Is going to send, especially when you're sending a bunch of stuff. You're sending a directory full of files, and you want to sync that directory with the remote directory. It's going to with -u is going to change only to upload only the files that were modified. So that's the beauty of rsync. If I put u here, you see that it didn't do anything because it's already up to date. So it didn't change anything, right? So get back to SSH tomato. You see, there is the file, and we did got up, at least the directory was created. Apache 2 was created, but there's nothing there because of the permissions, and we're going to change that. We're going to get through the part of permissions in a minute, so we can also get it done. Okay, so if I put this mkdir other files, and I'm going to put that in my file, that in other files. It's actually now a directory full of files. Just get potato. And I want to sync up that other files, those other files inside my backup folder here. I can, what I use with the flag -a was to archive, but I can also pull from a remote host to a local. Okay, and I can use this the same thing. We can use human readable. I can see the progress. I can get the whole directory. Well, that is recursively. We can also resolve symlinks. We're going to talk about symlinks next week. So I'm not going to deal with symlinks right now. And we just what we did with the SSH config file was just to avoid this part. Okay, you can also put this here, and this part, you can change the parameters of the SSH config, the SSH connection that we're using. But I digress. There's many ways to do that. Okay, so let's sync back up this rsync. I'm going to get from tomato the other files. and I want to put that on my backup folder. But I need to put some flags here. I want the uh, recursively, I want the entire contents of that directory. I want it to only be things that I don't have yet. And I want it to be verbose, I want it to be human readable, and I wanted to see the progress. So what we have in that folder was two files. Was this big file, this big video file, and uh, another regular file, empty file. Actually, we didn't put anything in my file. And we have here the information from those. This is the verbose part, and the human readable part is showing me in gigabytes or megabytes, so I understand what's going on. And it showed me the progress. So it took 22 seconds to transfer this guy, and no second. It was less than a second to transfer the other one. So if we check it in here on my backup folder, you can see that we have that file in file again. Okay, so we're going to get back to that. But one thing, why I wanted to do that in the first place, if you want to do regular backups, you can get that. Actually, can lose a lot of the flags, right? You can lose the progress. You can use your human readable and verbose, and it's not going to show you anything. It's just going to execute, and that's it. You can use that and automate to run in a certain amount of time. And that is the day 10 that we didn't got through the last week. That is from using Chrome and timers. You can automate that. So I am going to show you guys how to use a Chrome tab. If we use just Chrome tab -L, is going to be for my user only, and I'm going to get here the manual for that Chrome tab. You see, edit the Chrome tab for the current user. We can list all of the existing Chrome tab jobs for the current user. We can replace the current Chrome tab with the contents of another file. We can edit a Chrome tab for a specific user. I mean, if I'm sudo, if I'm the administrator, I can create a Chrome tab for another user. And I can edit the actual Chrome tab for the system, the whole system. That is, actually, let me etc on etc Chrome tab is the Chrome tab is basically the table for all the Chrome jobs. This is the system while Chrome tab. Okay, so things that are supposed to be running for the entire system, especially things that involve reboots or anything from the services, any system maintenance activities, it should be here. And one of the good things is that there is already an explanation of what each part of the from command, what does it mean. So the first the first field is for the minute, the second field is for the hour, the third field is for the day of the month. You can choose to send something every Monday or Sunday or whatever. Every day of the month. The day of the week is the last one. So I wanted every day 1, every first day, or every day 5. For the month that you want, you can put that to happen monthly, and if it's going to happen monthly, it's going to be on asterisk here. So you're not specify a month. But if you want that to only happen um, every quarter, so you can put, for example, I want on March, July, or something. You can put the specific dates you want. And then the week, something that happens weekly, is going to be every Sunday, or every Monday, or every three times a week. You can go crazy on that. And there is one. There's Crown tab generator. Let me see if it's this one. So, yeah, this guy. Get better. So instead of just calculating in your head how to do that, you can just put in here. Okay, I want monthly. One in the day of the month. You see that it gives me the exact options that I have for each field. So it's a 4:05, and let's see. I want it to be Sunday. No, because this is day of the month. So every day 20. On the day of the month 20, on the 20th at 4:05. So every month on the 20th. But if I want that to be on January, and February, on the 20th of January and February of the year at 4:05, is going to execute this task. Or if I want to be that it's a project and I want it for 2 months, January and February, to execute every Sunday. On Sunday in January and February. So it's going to happen every Sunday from January to February. If it's something that is weekly and it doesn't have a date to uh, to stop working, you can every week on Sunday or every week on Sunday. That one is also, and all of this is also weekly. It's a non-standard, but you can use that as well. So that we have a few things that are specific instead of putting every minute on Sunday. No, I just want one time. I want that at midnight every Sunday. Or if I put just weekly, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be at midnight on Sunday. It's assumed that for standard, you can change by for those specifics, but if you just use at weekly, is that what it's going to be? Okay. So if I want to add something to happen here, I could put something like if every reboot, for example, I want at every reboot I want root to execute I don't know, all. There's something I could put. or I can execute something that is a script that I already have done, and it's going to, for example, if I have, for I don't know, I'll have a script at home, Livia. I have a script there. It's going to execute that script, but I have to put here that I wanted to execute that script. Okay, and execute it with shell or bash. Alright, I have the shell being sh, regular sh. I can just have bash to execute that. So I have bash to execute this script. I have to put something that is going to receive that task. Okay, this is one example. But what I wanted to really put here is you can put for a backup if you want something to be done weekly. You can put root to execute. This is for root, but because I'm working on the actual system-wide cron tab, but I can put rsync something something that uses that SSH, and all of that should have the permissions for root because we're dealing as root here. Okay, but I'm not going to change anything for the system-wide. This is one option. I can put this only for cron tab. I don't have anything for Livia, but I can create one. Okay, so if I want to add it for the current user, I can create a cron tab for Livia. And I wanted to, wow. I can use nano. Okay, we can use nano. No mind. And you see that is a little bit different. It did this 5 wanted tasks to be run by Chrome, and it's not as intuitive, but you still have the information how to do that. Okay, and I can put my rsync here. So if I wanted to, this is one of the things. Okay, I wanted to talk about that combined with define the file transfer stuff, because that is one of the things that we use a lot. I mean, I don't really use Chrome for activities that are not really necessary to happen every specific time. But one thing that I do every time, and I'm going to put this here, exit. I wanted to, for example, to just, I mean, it's something that is already being done. But if I'm working on a different system that doesn't have that, I can ask for the updates. I can ask to receive the status of something specific at regular times. Notice that I'm not talking about using monitoring tools in specific. I'm just using the native tools from Linux here. So Chrome is one of them. I can task regularly. All right. So I guess we got that covered, right? And we can start talking about users and permissions. When we created this this server, we have to create Livia as a new user, so we don't use root all the time. And we already talked about this. Using root as your regular driver is a bad idea. It's for security and peace of mind reasons. Please have another user created and give them the permissions that you need, but don't use root. But I just got through that pretty quickly. Let's create another user here. For example, I want to create Julio. I'm going to add user Julio here on my server. Okay, add user. Okay, it's going to get the information that the template for a new user from EC Scale, where we have the templates. I mean, things that every user should have, like a home directory and the regular configuration. So we can give a password for Julio, and we can also just put a temporary password if we want, but that will be more specific if you use user add instead of add user. Put the information. Is this correct? Yes, and it's done. I mean, so if I want to take a look of this new user that I just created, I can get that UID from etc grep. But yeah, UID etc login definitions. Those are the UIDs for users, regular users, and these are the UIDs or the user's ID, just a number that represents you. You can change the name, but you cannot change the ID. These are for the system users, and these are for the regular users, the users that I just created. If I want to get the entity, get entity, it should be password or passwd. I want everything that is inside that range, but we have some few users here, so I'm just going to use 1,000 to 2,000, and it's going to show me, I'll show Livia, and here Julio that I just created. Okay, but notice one thing that we have. This is the user ID and the group ID, user ID. We just got straight to the user. We can create a user that's going to just have their name as the group, or we can aggregate users by creating groups. So if I want to create a group, I can sudo. Remember, since I'm doing something that is system-wide, it's going to change system-wide. I need to use sudo. I'm going to use, I can use group add, or I can use add group as well. What is the difference? TLDR, add group. Oh yes, we're not going to. We have add group. So I'm going to use, actually I'm going to use group add. Group add, and I'm going to create students, group students. Just created one. I could use add group. I don't know, teachers. You see that there's a little difference. If I want to get the same thing, if I grab group ID from the etc login definitions, I have the same minimum and maximum ID that I can have for new groups, created regular groups. So get entity. Here is going to be group from 1,000 to 1,000, and we have Livia. that is 1,000. Have Julio that we just created, that is 1,001. We have students that are 1,002. Have teachers that are 1,003. We can move or add users to those groups if you want. Okay, just take note of the IDs that I'm using, because this is kind of the baseline that we're going to use when we talk about permissions as well. We're going to see that. Obviously, we're going to see the actual name. Most of the time, you're going to see the ID. So, let's see. We can create. Oh yes, let's see in which groups. And I'll see the group. Here, groups, print group memberships. And we can print the group memberships of more than one username at a time. So we can see groups for Livia and Julio. See that Livia is from group Livia and group sudo, because I need sudo on my server. And Julio is just on Julio. Okay. Let's add another user. I use it add user, but we can do something more complex using user add. So I'm going to user. We're gonna get the parameters because there'll be a lot. We can create just username. It's not going to do much more than that. That's a problem. We can attribute an UID for a user in the beginning. We can attribute the shell. We can attribute the group. We can create the home. And we can just use the scale, that template for users that add user already pull at the moment that we create a new user, and the system. So if you want to reproduce the same thing that we did with add user was pretty simple, and the purpose is that to be simple. Whereas the user add is a little bit more complex, but it gives you flexibility. You can change things as you like. So okay, let's try then sudo user add. I want to use Pascal. What's that? Was etc scale? Yeah, etc scale. Or instead of using a template, I can do all of that by hand. I can what is the shell that I'm using? I know. User being bash. I'm going to use user being bash. So sudo user add. I want the shell be used bin dash. I want the groups, and I'm going to put already a group. I want the group to be teacher. I want to create a home. Create home. What else we can? And I'm going to give another UID. I'm not going to just take the next available one. I want 1,000 1010. And the username is going to be Mateus. Okay, let's see if I got it right. How does group teacher does not exist? I created group teacher, didn't I? I did create a group. Here, teachers. Ah, I did create a group teacher. Teachers. Details, details. Okay. So if we take a look at users. Ah, okay. So we got Livia using Bean Bash. We have a home. And Julio also Bean Bash have a home. And Mateus with a different UID. This is the only thing that I really just got differently. But we created a home and we're using also Bean Bash. Nice. So if you take a look at groups for Livia, Julio, and Mateus, you see that Mateus have his own group, but he's also in teachers. You see that it did create a group only for him. It was not created inside the group only. We can do that. By yeah, we can create in group if you want. That will be with sudo add user. I want to create in group. And the group is teachers. What else? I'm going to put that Scarix. I'm going to put Scarix in group for the teachers. You see that we are adding the user Scarix. We are adding a new group, new user, this new user to the group teachers, creating a home directory, copying files from Scale, and password. Oh, I did password. Did a password. No more information. Those are good, and that's it. Now you see I created in group, so I didn't create a group only for Scarix. I just put Scarix inside the group teachers, and that's it. If I want to remove a user from group, I can add. If I want to add a user to a group, I can modify. Actually, I can sudo get my around. I want to group. Take a look at my notes. So tired, man. It's not working. I just used that today. User mod. Yes, it's user mod. Whew. I want that it? Yeah, it's user mod. So, yeah, I want to add a user. Append. Actually, this is append. Append a user to a group, and the group is students. And I want to add Julio as a student. So if I take a look here at the groups again, see that Julio is now with students as well. This is the modifying of the user. I can modify groups. I can also delete groups. So all the set of actions we can do with users and groups are pretty much the same. We can add, we can modify, we can delete. So if you want to modify, it's going to use mod. If you want to delete, it's going to use del. If we're going to add, we're going to use add. So if I want to I want to delete the students group, I can just sudo group del. I'm going to delete students. If I take a look at the groups again, you see there's no longer students for Julio. Good thing I didn't delete the teachers group. Otherwise, his characters were going to be homeless. No group, groupless. What else? If I want as well, we're going to take a look at home. You see that all of them still have their home directories. If I just sudo user del Julio, let's see, is home folder still here. So user del is not the best command for that. We can use del user instead. It's going to be like we are using for the add user, that we have more details, that is more flexible. We can do more stuff. That will also see user del. See if we have that parameter here. Yeah, if we use the flag -r, we can remove the files in user's home directory and the home directory itself. So we can do that also, but we have to put the flag. So it's both sides are pretty similar, but you see, if I just want to delete the user and I want to keep the files for, I don't know, audit or anything like that, I can just delete the user and that's it. He has no way to log in again, but I got to keep all the data that he generated. Okay, so that was for users and groups. I can also delete. Which group can we delete? Let's take a look at the groups. Okay. Oops. Group. See, we don't have it anymore. We deleted the group, we deleted the user. We added group, we added user, we modified user. What can we modify? We can modify, yes. Let's sudo group mod. That's group mod. And we're probably going to use some flags here. Let's put a new name. I'm going to modify teachers. but I have to first I have to do give a new name. What is the name? Masters, and this is going to be the teachers. So we change. You could just use the flag -n is the same as -- new name. Sometimes when you're in doubt, tab completion is your friend. So if we look at this, you see that now we have masters. Okay, instead of we have masters, we just changed the name. So we add user, we add groups, we modify groups, we modify users, we deleted users, we deleted groups. Thanks for the following. Eradicationator. Eradicationator. Thanks for the following. And we got covered with the users and groups. Now we can use that information to understand the permissions. So I'm going to get in here. And I'm going to use this flag to show a few things. When we list all of the details for my files, you see that we have obviously the name of the file, right? We have the date and time of the last modification of that, we have the size, and we have here user and group ownership. So these are mine because I'm Livia. If I want to check all of the files for Mateus, you see that is using the Mateus group, Mateus user, that's the ownership. If we're going to go with Scarex, because Scarex is on the group masters, but the ownership user Scarex, the ownership group is masters. This is the first thing that we can look at. We have the names here. You can also let's see, you can see the numeric for that. So instead of seeing the names, we can see the actual UID and GID, user ID and the group ID. Remember about that? We just changed the name, but the ID is the same. That is one thing, the ownerships. And why this is important, we have the ownerships specified here on our list, because this this little detail is going to give me the actual permissions for those ownerships. We have 3 ownerships, okay? And let me get here. I need some visual for that. To put this. Yeah, thanks for the beers. Appreciate it. All right, let's use this one. So this is the specification that we're seeing there. Okay. We have one field, one space. Then we have 3 more spaces, then 3 more spaces, then 3 more spaces. What does that mean? The first one indicates the file type. if we have a D, indicates that we have a directory, and that's what we have here. This is the directory. For example, we start with a D. Local is also a directory, and SSH, we know this is a directory. Backup folder, yes, it is a directory. So we got the first part, right? The second part is the first ownership. This is going for the read on R, W for write, and X for execute permissions for the file owner. That file owner is this first guy, okay? The user. So is the user, the owner of the file is the user. The second set of spaces here is the read, write, and execute permissions for the group owner. So that second name that we get here. So the first is for the user, right? For the user. And the second is for the group of the user. The group that this user has ownership on that file. A user can be in more than one group. We saw that, but as you can see here for Mateus, for example, he doesn't have any files that were created with the group ownership for the second group that he participates in, that is the masters. Doesn't have that. Most of the group ownership of his files are for his own little group, that is Mateus, user Mateus, and group Mateus. That's it. But Scarix, because he doesn't have an Scarix group, because we just created him in group for masters, all of his files are going to be for the group masters as well. So we have another user, for example, Mateus, that is participating in masters. He will have some kind of permission to see or to read, to write, or execute a file that is for that group. If he is from that group, he's going to see that. Okay. And the third part is read, write, execute permissions for all the other users. So this is the first way we can check this out. You're going to see owner, group, and others, or Google. And you have to remember that if you want to change the ownership of a file just for one of two of them, you can specify which set of permissions you want to change. So if I take a look at my files, for example, I have my file here, and it is a regular file, it's not a directory. I think it's a little small. I mean, all the time. So sorry about that. Better, right? And it's not a directory, but I, as a user, the user owner of this file, I can read and write. My group can also read and write. And everyone else, the others, can only read. They cannot write. Okay? So if I want to change anything in that, I can change change mod, and let's just take the manual for that. Chmod. What does chmod do? Change the access permissions for a file or directory. And that's where we got that the little mnemonic, like the U user, G for group, or O for others. That's why the manual is here. It can give you some tips on what you can do. And if I want to all of them, to users, groups, and others, I can, instead of just putting this for user, this to group, this to others, I can just use all users. So one thing that we can do here to change the permission, we can, no, for my file, we can change that for change mod. I want others to, actually, I don't want others to see that. So I'm going to remove the read for my file. So if I take a look at that, you see all dashes. So no permissions for others, only for the user and the group that has ownership of the file. If I want to change that, actually, I want to add read and write to others. This is a completely open file. I can change mod and I can add read and write to others on my file. If I take a look at this, you see read and write. If I want everybody to be able to execute this file, I can change mod, all can execute, and I can just put just plus X. Is it going to understand like all my file? See, everybody can execute. So the changing of the permissions is going to be like that. One thing that you probably already saw in the beginning of the challenge, especially if you're using an AWS instance, when you downloaded the SSH private key, there is one instruction that says change the ownership, change the permissions of the file, and we can see that, for example, in our Linode SSH key. You see that is pretty restricted. Only the user, the owner of the file, can read and write that, and nothing else. No one else. But that instruction was not for the O's and U's and G's. It was a bunch of numbers. What does that mean? And I believe we'll have that in, well, we have the binaries. It did. Let me see if I can get. Yeah, we do have table. I want a better table. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's use this. Okay. So if you think in binaries, I'm not going to complicate this much, but just understand that if I want just read is a 4. If I want a read and write is a 6. If I want a read and write and execute is a 7. If I want just read and execute is a 5. You can just let me see, we can get that here. The octals. Not specific. I have to go a little further. But yeah, you can change that using numbers instead of a combination of O's, R's, and O's, U's, and G's. So if I wanted to transform my file like this into this, one thing that I could do would be user not executing, group not executing, not reading, writing, or executing, and others not minus not read, write, execute my file. So I got the same result, But you see the size of this? If I get this back, I'm just going to add all of it again. I'm going to revert the change. Okay, we got all permissions for everyone. Super open. If I want to close that, I can use that ginormous set of flags, or I can just use the numbers. So what is the final state of the permissions that I want? I want to be take that. I want it to be like this. What is like this? Is read and write is a read and write is a 6. Actually, it's a little bit open. It should be closer. It's just more not as open. We could restrict a little bit more. It should be a lot more restricted. We can use a 4, right? Just read for the owner, and zeros for everyone else. 0 is going to be I have no permissions here, no permissions here, no permissions here, so it's a 0. So instead of doing that big command line, we can just use 400 and my file, and I got the same result. Actually got a result a little more restricted. That is what the instructions on AWS, for example, ask for to use on an SSH private key. This private key should be more restrictive, to be fair. Okay. So the main thing that we're going to use is regards of permissions is going to change those permissions, or the change mod, the ch mod. But you can change ownership and group of your file as well. So I'm going to see. I'm going to impersonate. Now we're going to talk about users. And since I'm a sudo, I can do that. I can impersonate another user. I'm going to impersonate Mateus. Let's see if I got any any troubles doing that now. So now I'm Mateus. So I get to my home directory, and I do not have any regular files. Let's touch a file. I am a boss because Mateus is a boss. You know that. So what is the permission of that file? We have read and write for the group Mateus, the user Mateus, and the group Mateus, and just a read permission for everyone else. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to change, since Mateus is on 2 groups, is on Mateus and masters, I can change the ownership of one of my files, right? Or Mateus files, since I have Mateus now. So we can I'm going to change the ownership, or actually no, I'm going to change the group. So change group, and it's not change group. Yes, I was right. Change grp for change group, grp for change group. I always just spell it out. It's easier to remember. So I'm going to change the group of that to masters, or I am a boss. So if I take a look again, the ownership changed for the group, not for the user. Okay, so I'm opening this file kind of to everybody that is on masters. All right. So let's see. Let's impersonate another person, another user. Let's sudo su scarex. Ah yes, I put. Oh yes, because Mateus is not a sudo, so it does not going to happen here. Let's get out of Mateus and be scarex now. Okay. Why I'm doing that? Because groups Mateus and scarex. A groups. That's why you use type completion. Scarex is on the masters. So I can try to copy to my home directory, maybe. Let's see if that works this time. I want to copy from home Mateus. I am a boss. I wanted to copy here. No, permission denied. I cannot do that. Let's see if I can at least read that file. There has nothing inside, but still permission denied. And should be able to write that. See if I can echo. Yeah, file permissions are okay. And I changed the ownership, so someone from the same group should be able to do it. Yeah, the home directory is not allowing me. Ah, yes, I know. Okay. Let's change that back. Yeah, Mateus group is owner of the Mateus home directory. So we have the change to change group, of the directory. So we're going to masters, Mateus. So let's see if that does the trick. And let's try that again. Yeah, we got it. So now I want to take a look at that. Yes, we got it. And you see, I'm not the owner of that file. Scarex is not the owner of that file, but he's on the same group that is owner of that file. Here. So we have some permissions. Okay. So what else? We change group, we change owner. Let's see if we can change the actual ownership of that. Change owner of this guy. I'm going to change the Eric's. See if it does that. No, this operation is not permitted. You have permissions, but yeah, don't go that far. Okay. Let's see if Mateus decides to. Okay, I'm not going to the owner of that anymore. Let's see if he is. Operation not permitted. So we can take a look at the manual for change owner. Da-da-da. Ah, but I can do that as a root. As an administrator, I can do that. Sudo change owner. Huh? I want to do this. I cannot access because I'm everyone else, even being sudo. Can I do that as root? Do you think so? No. You see the protection? Okay. Ah, the path. Let's do that differently. So I'm going to change owner characters. Let's use full path. Matthew. I am. Oh yeah. Nothing like using the whole path. So relative path can give you in trouble for things like this. So if I get out of, and I'm going to be Scarix now, and I want to take a look at you see, we changed the ownership. So even if it's still on Mateo's home directory, the actual owner of that file now, because root say so, is Scarix. But if the Mateos is still on the masters group, he can do stuff that the masters can do. The group can do. So if me as Scarix change the permissions for that file, instead of being 6, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to see, instead of being read and write 6, read and write 6, and no read, no write, no execute 0. That's what, no, 4, just read. So this is 664. I'm going to change to 644. For Mateos, I am a boss. So we changed from 664 to 644. Let's try to impersonate Mateos again. Okay, let's echo something else. Let's try to put that in I am a boss. Ah, I cannot do it. I'm no longer, I still am from the same group, but I no longer have write permissions. All of this going around that I just did was to show what we can do as a as part of each permission. So if you're part of a group that can read, you can only read. If you're part of the group and the group can read and write, you can read and write. If you're the owner and you can read and write and execute, you can read and write and execute. This is simple, right? The permissions for each category to each set of users. Just the owner, the user owner, the group owner, and everyone else, others. And that's it. That's it. So if I get back as actually as Livia, because Livia is others, and I try to do this, to I don't have even access to the actual directory. I cannot do it. It's going to give me an error for sure. Because I cannot even... Can I read? Yes, I can read. But I cannot write. And I do not have much permissions to those directories as well. What did I am already in home. Here. So I'm not master, so I cannot even see the contents of the directory. So you see that there is a cascade of permissions. But that will be it. Okay, guys. So we got through with days 10, 10, 11, and 12. Ah, yes, yes. One thing that I was supposed to do after we changed stuff, to do that rsync that we were not able to do because of permissions. I wanted to circle back to that. Remember that Apache is also root. That's why we could not send that to our remote host. We do not have the permissions to move around this one. So we have to use, let's see if sudo is going to be enough. I'm going to change the ownership, and I'm going to change the ownership, the user and the group at the same time. So I'm going to do this Livia for Apache. That, yeah, I pretty much. Now it's Livia. The question is the contents of the directory Apache also changed? Yeah, it is not. So if we get into Apache and we take a look here, they are also all root. So that it was not that good what I did. So I get back, and that's why the -R, capital R, is preferable to use recursive. So we change the directory and all its content. So we're going to do that again. And we can take a look here on change owner. We have, yes, with that. Recursively change the owner of directory and its contents. So we're going to use that command again, but we're going to use -R. And I'm using sudo because the owner is root. If I try to do that as regular user, it's not going to get me there. The operation is not going to be permitted. So I do have to do that as sudo. And now if I look at Apache, No, no, give me a list. Here we go. Livia for everyone. So now I can try that rsync that we're trying. Not this one. No, not this one. Let me take a look at history. I want to do this guy. 29. I want to archive that backup in Tomato. And we see that it didn't use the flag -u to only update things that were changed. So it's sending the same file that we sent before again, because we didn't specify that, just wanted to increment things that were new. Now we got the new stuff. It's pretty quick. All the Apache stuff is here. So we got that done. So what we can do, we're going to modify this. Okay. And I'm going to put that on my Chrome tab. Or I can just I'm going to put that on my Chrome tab. So I'm going to create a Chrome tab for my current user. Remember, how can we do that? With Chrome tab -e. Right, I'm going to change the edit Chrome tab file for the current user. So Chrome tab -e. Yes, it's. So I want this to happen, and how much do I want this? I want this to happen every 15 minutes. Or at minute 15. So I'm going to, at minute 15. No, I'm going to change that. And you can put here on next, it's going to say, okay, if this happens now, 15, next one is going to be every hour. So, oh yeah, thank you, Matheus. So instead of that, I want every 15th minute, at every 15 minutes. So the next one is going to be 2:30, then 2:45, 3:30. We're going to use this one. Okay. So let me copy that first. Add this comment. I'm going to use this guy. So I want 15 for the hour. Then that it. I want that to sync every 15 minutes. Or I can do that. Worse, I'm going to do every minute. Just because I wanted to show you guys, but you can do that as much as you like. And rsync doesn't really have to only happen to a remote folder using SSH and all that. You can just do to another local folder if you want. It's going to sync the same way. The difference is the connection. You don't really need SSH to do that. It's going to stay inside the local host, but you can do that locally or just local to a remote location. Works the same way. And right out. Yeah. Wrote. Exit. We have a new cron tab. So if I change something, it's going to happen every minute. So if I go, let's go to the other side, just for a little bit. Let's go to tomato. And we are putting stuff here, right? Just think. Ooh, there was no U. Oh, jeez. Nice catch. Nice catch, Mateus. I forgot to put the U. Arrgh. Yeah, I'm going to try something here so I can split my screen. Not the best, but okay. Let's SSH tomato. So we are on tomato now. And we look all the files. Two. Nope. I have to reduce this. It's getting me annoyed. Okay, we are on tomato. I'm going to tail dash f my file so you guys can see any changes. You see that is a file that is empty, but I'm going to monitor any change to that. Okay, so back to the other part. I'm going to then on the backup folder. Yes. So let's get on the backup folder. Echo something in my file. So we can still going to have to work through that. Didn't forget anything for that cron tab. Let me just double check. See the jobs if I got that running. Yep. Okay, we got that. You can check the service. Just remember where the cron tab logs are. Git grep from var log syslog, and I need sudo for that. Okay. We try to do that here. 17 526. That was 4 minutes ago. Yeah, using the run F. Oh, here's something. Thank you, Mateus. And to check the difference between tail F and capital F and regular F. Let's see if it's here. Why it doesn't have it? Okay, just manual. I do not have the time. Here's F with lowercase f is to output pen data as file grows. And capital F is the same, but it does have a retry. So it keeps on going. So I'm going to do that, and we can add more stuff. Oh no. Let me get back. There. Go. Add stuff. You need to wait for a minute to see it. But if we look at our log, we're going to see when that happened. Okay, it still didn't happen. We got on 28. Got on... Actually, I can do a better grab from that. Yeah. Instead of using Chrome, I'm going to put rsync so I can see the actual stuff doing. Oh, here's this something else. So it's running. Our Chrome tab is running. We can see obviously here, and it's every minute 26, 27, 28, 29, 31, 32, 33. It's running. Right? We have that from the syslog, and we have that proof that it really works here on the other side. So we got all of this recap. We got find, locate, grep-r to search for files. We use which, search for programs, and also apt file for checking that on the packages. We learned to use scp, sftp, and rsync, and we used Chrome to send our files over to a remote host and sync both of our local host to a remote host. We synchronized some of our files, and we also learned a little bit about users. We created users, we deleted users, we modified the parameters for users, and we do that the same for the groups. So we add group, we change group, and we deleted groups. And we also got through the permissions. So we learn a bit about the Hugo permissions, the user, group, all, and others. And we also learned to do that using octal notation. So I guess that was it for today. You guys have anything else? that's it. I'm going to close this one. And I really appreciate your guys being with me today. Thank you so much. And see you guys next week. Bye bye.